Hello everyone. I thought what we would do, by the time they get the one video we just did this morning, question and answers, we want to do the iris pictures and catch up with them, but it's probably going to be a while before we get to do them again. So this is going to be the last group I'm going to do for a while, because by all the ones we've done, I'm trying to teach you as best I can with these. Matter of fact, let me get a chart just in case we need to use the chart, But get yourself a little chart, an iris chart, like this. Or, better yet, it's $25, but it's from New Zealand. And it just covers our cost to get them here. But here is a neater looking chart. This is a little raggy because I use it daily here. But doesn't that look neat, where you can see your body parts? So get yourself an iris chart. They come in all sizes. I don't know if this is available anymore. This is Dr. Jensen's chart, these two. Where you can use that and have a chart in front of you where you can pick these areas that you have a problem with, and you'll be able to identify them with that and get used to this chart, because it's real simple. It might look intimidating at first, but it's not intimidating. Just take your time, go through things. This really gives you a good picture view, pictorial view of the body and how the organs and glands are laid out in it. I've already talked to you about the whole premise of iridology, which is neurological, of course, which is how all life communicates through physics or through electromagnetic frequencies, and that's just how this works. Easy to understand iridology if you understand a little bit of physics and a little bit of chemistry. So it becomes easy, and you understand how the nervous system works in the body. So I want to cover some of these eyes for you, try to help you out then, because after this video on the eye work, I've got so many question and answers that I'm having a hard time keeping up. So hang tight with the eye pictures for a while. But let's go ahead, Drew, and do these for them. And Drew and I found this tree. Now, this will help those that are tired of juicing so much, right? When you go on a lemon juice fast, you got these little lemons, and it takes you a long time to juice them up.
This is going to eliminate...
Here's the solution.
All the problems are solved.
All the problems are solved, baby. This is from Finhorn, or probably should have been. What a beautiful... Ponderosa lemon don't have nothing on this one. This is out of the heavens, baby. That thing will make you a picture of juice right there. Just put straw in there and suck out all that lemon juice.
Like a coconut.
Like a coconut. Yeah.
Jeez.
All right. Let's carry forth, Drewski. Let's see what we can come up with. I'm going to do this one. This is from Saer. You want me to move my little...
No.
Yeah, did you see that?
No.
Isn't that cool?
Go back around real quick.
Go
back around and introduce. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, I already showed him this one.
Oh, you did?
Oh, yeah. This is my little Norwegian man.
You didn't show me.
This is my Norwegian man. And this is fresh, wild-crafted Norwegian kelp.
I'm looking at the Norwegian man first.
You want to taste some kelp?
Let me look at the kelp. Here.
Okay.
Here we go.
Oh, I want to give him some kelp.
That's kelp?
This is kelp.
Awesome.
Norwegian fresh kelp.
Does it smell good?
From Norway. But you're always supposed to get Norwegian kelp. That's the cold water. It's the best kelp in the world. Atlantic Norwegian kelp. So good stuff from my friends Geraldine, all the way from Norway. The strong Norwegian people. Okay, this is from Saer. This is some children here. I don't really have any ages in front of me right now. But this is Nadim. Well, with all so many languages and everything, and you're no country boy, things become harder to pronounce. This is a young lad, I'll say. I don't know the age, But I wanted to show, because he was talking about genetics, because there's 2 children involved here. And I take it this is the younger one here. So let me, and the left is really easy to see. So let's look at 2 left eyes and their genetic similarities. Can you see that, dude?
Perfectly.
Now, the one thing that you can see here, you see these are brown eyes, no question, all right? But what color brown? There's light brown, there's darker brown, there's all colorations of brown, and even some black around the pupil there that's emanating out of that pupil. You see the similarities here are striking between these 2 eyes, and these are 2 brothers. Can't say I know the ages of them or whatever. Now, these rings, see these rings that slice down through an eye like this? These are called cramp. I really don't like that name. Nerve rings is what they're called. Another name they use is the cramp rings, but really this isn't stress. By the time you start seeing nerve rings in your body, you're losing your myelin sheaths. And I've correlated this through the years with that little thing called shingles. So when you lose your myelin sheaths here, you immediately are going to go to what controls the autonomic nerve, because this is the autonomic nervous system. Even though when you read iridology, they talk about the autonomic nerve wreath that goes around the bow. I disagree with that. I think that when you, by the time you see the autonomic nervous system, it reflexes itself in nerve rings. And this shows you you're immediately going to go to the adrenals. Well, right there is the adrenal gland on this one boy, and see how you can identify that. That has a specific. It's an imprint, or it's a what we call lacuna, a pattern. And remember, when in a healthy eye, and maybe I should go back here, but I hate to keep going back, but when you're looking at a healthy eye, you want to see what you're trying to move towards, and the only thing I'll show you is a healthy blue eye. To show you in a blue eye what it should be, and it should be the same thing with the brown. See, when I play with these, they get all out of order, and then I'm seeking to find my good eyes here. Okay, so here we go. In a blue eye, and even in a brown eye, we want all these fibers that make up an eye. These are little fibers underneath which houses the rods and cones. These little fibers are expressed as straight markings or straight lines that emanate from the pupil out to the outer periphery, just like a wagon wheel, except instead of having like 12 or 20 spokes, you've got hundreds of spokes that emanate out of here. When these spokes are nice and straight, the body's strong and healthy cellular. These fibers represent the cells. And remember, we showed you that when these fibers get thick with either white, yellow, or brown stuff, all this thickness, see that thickness? So think of a winter's day where it's all cloudy, there's no sunshine, and you can't see a blue sky. That's what the lymph system does to the body. It covers the landscape with clouds, but these are acid clouds of mucus and toxemia. Heavy metals and the like are held within this mucus to protect the body. So this is thick mucus in here, as opposed to the one below it, which doesn't have. She has a little bit of thick mucus in here, and you see a little yellow sulfur and a little, heavy lymph in this area, but this is all lymphatics. Well, let's transpose this down to this eye here. Look at the thickness. You see this nerve ring here? Look at the thickness of this. And this shows this young lad is full lymphatically. He's really backed up lymphatically. You don't see a lot of these lacunas or markings in the fibers like some people, so that's good. So what you see is heavy lymphatic problems. Here's some skin weaknesses in the child. Here's a little adrenal right here. His brother, however, has a little bit of a kidney, more of a kidney weakness than he does. Although I'm not taking the time to map these off, you see a little bit of a spot right here, which could be this young lad's kidney right there. See that little dark area there? And you see one kind of up. You don't see so much over here, but closer you see one similarly. It could just be that it's off here from the 12 o'clock position, and they're both very similar here in spots. Now, where you see a little bit of this, you see a big one here. See the differences? This, of course, I think this child is probably younger than this one. This is represented by, let me see here. Yeah, this is probably more bladder, or it could even be prostate. This is probably more the bladder of the child, and thickness up the back, a little mid-back, little stomach weakness here, but you see that a little bit in the young one there. This thick lymph, though, is what you see. Here's a prolapsus of the bowel. See how that swings in close to the pupil? So you have a prolapsed splenic flexure. You see a very similar prolapsus of the splenic flexure here. Now, you see a little darkness up in this head area here on this child, but if you look down here, it's much more defined. I would be concerned about this in that I would use upper circ and brain and nerve on these children to, along with getting the adrenals and the kidneys done, I'd be cleaning their lymph systems and strengthening these children because, after all, they got fairly good genes. But up in the head area, you've got a couple darker areas that I don't like up in here with the young one, if this indeed is the younger one. And these spots never turn into anything good, you know. Acids keep breaking things down. This child does not have those, but you can see little bowel pockets in there. Here's a few bowel pocketed areas. It does have this little decay in there, but a lot of lymph going on here. On the right side of the body of these children, you see a similar thing going on. Heavy lymph, thick lymph, and you see how it's a little darker, a little bit around the pupil. If this wasn't cleaned up as they got older, this would be much more defined as time goes on. Here's another prolapsus in the hepatic flexure, and if I look here, this looks a little better. So this child, let's see, this one is Amin, A-M-I-N, Amen. And then this one is Nadim, close to that anyway. So I don't know which is this looks like the younger child with the eyelashes and everything, but it's hard to say. It's enough to say both children are heavily lymphatic up. You see thicknesses in here in the lymph system. You can look through these nerve rings and see how deep they cut. Stomach involved a little bit in both children, particularly in this Nadim. So basically, you got good genes. Here we're going to climb backwards here. This is more pancreatic right testicle. And so this is on Nadim. Here's we got it could be hip. I'm not taking the time to break these down. But if I did here, I'm probably still going to be considered this is close to the pancreatic area and the right testicle. So you could have a digestive issue. I would say that would also make this the gallbladder area, and I think that the young man needs to clean his gallbladder liver out. Now, with that said, though, this is real close to the hip, and this could be the young man's right hip as well. You go over here, and Nadim's right kidney is not a happy kidney whatsoever. We go up here, and we see a similar scenario with the other child. See, that's the right kidney, and the right kidney's right here. And you see that darker marking? That's the kidney. Now, this could be the adrenal up here or the upper femur where this goes into the hip. If I look at the younger child, I'm back over here again at either pancreatic, testicle, or hip. And I'm beginning to wonder if this probably is the hip. I'm back to the gallbladder over here with the younger one as well. So we got some gallbladders and livers to clean out, some kidneys to get filtering, because this whole right leg on this child See how thick that and dark that looks at 6 o'clock position? That's the leg area. A lot of lymph in this. There's the appendix right up in here. That's chronic. And then we move toward the hip and the pancreas and so forth up around the line here. Bowels are chronic. A lot of darkness up in the head area. These children have to have some good cold and flu-like symptoms and clean out their sinuses and stuff. So that's what I see here. This is a throat a little bit here. You can see some blood vessels here kind of focusing in on the throat. This is also mid-back a little bit, mid-back going on with the amen or whatever. But you see more in the lumps down here, the thick lumps of lymph. Just the thick lumps of lymph in the lymph nodes and everywhere else. So these children need to have their bodies detoxed and cleaned out. Their adrenals, of course, you have to enhance the adrenals to detox. So you're getting the adrenals and the kidneys. Cleaning up the GI tract is an obvious focus there. And you see when we're looking at the right eye, we're looking at this picture here. So when I'm talking about legs, I'm right here at 6 o'clock. I'm talking about kidneys. I'm right here at 5:30, 5:45. And you work yourself on up here. Here's the back here, the throat, the brain area, the jaw, the teeth. Here's the lung patterns. Here's the pancreas, the gallbladder, liver, and the hip, pelvic area. And you see all those right in this area here. So children's got good genes, though. As much as this sounds like you see a lot of different things, these children have pretty good genes. They got a lymph system, though. Typical, needs to be cleaned out there, Saer. And you got to work on that. But you got some good genes in the kids. Clean out the GI tracts and, make healthy that way. Just to show you while we're talking about these deep crevices, these lacunas, crypts, fiber patterns, however you wish to call it. I guess there's two different people here. There's two different people here. So let's Luigi, let's look at this one. Now, do you see here, this is Rosanna, but this isn't Rosanna's eyes. This must be her husband. Let me see. Happy New Year. Oh, thanks, sweetheart. Attached are photos of my eyes and my brother's eyes. Oh, wow. Look at that. This is Rosanna's brother's eyes. We have had a lot of trouble with insomnia, but after doing a long water fast and changing my diet to very natural foods, I am sleeping a lot better. I am 40 years old. He is 42. Our eyes look pretty similar, I thought, and actually my son's eyes, age 7 and 5, look pretty similar to mine, which they should. What herbs do you suggest we use? Thank you very much. All the best to you and yours in 2014. Thank you, Rosanna. Well, this is a good picture, a really good picture to show you here. And I would like to use this picture in my iridology classes to show that really picked up, gave it a really good 3D look. And you can see how deep these images are.
They did a great job with that.
Yeah, they did.
That's one.
Yeah,
use that
where
as a
you
sample.
I love that picture.
That.
Yeah, it's a good picture.
Yeah.
You really get a good look at the GI tract. Your stomach and bowels are represented perfectly with this picture. See how this whole area looks distinctly different than out here. And that's because this whole area is the GI tract. If you were going to focus in on an eye chart like Jensen's, this whole area you see here is this area here. You have your bowels around here. You have your appendix, which is right here, and then you start to see this whole bowel. Now you see this like a football shape. This is a good example of a genetic lesion. Now, you notice that it's outside this bowel rim. It's outside of this. It's not inside. So this is outside of the bowel, but because it because this weakness came out of the bowels at the embryonic stages. It takes in and affects the bowel. This is in the cecum part of the colon. That's the very first part that houses the appendix, and this is spastic. See how that's like a V in there? That means spasticity, but it's linked to this weakness, and this weakness is the right hip. And that's genetic. Here's the problem with that. See this thick wall? See that thick rope look around there? Remember, we talked about that even Jensen said that in the genetic weakened area, the blood is compromised and the lymph flow is compromised in these weaknesses. And I've said this before, I can't speak to the blood flow in these areas, but you can see the lymph flow. It's almost like this area of weakness, the body wants to terminate it. Just like nature wants to terminate a weakness. So it shuts it off. And these are closed lacunas, meaning that this is closed. It's difficult for that area to breathe lymphatically. And then you can see the black deep in that. There's a little decay in that. And that is right at the right hip area. But this is a little sulfur laden, it looks to me like. This looks like sulfur. The problem with a picture like this is accurate colors. But, you know what, it's such a beautiful view. It has to be detoxed anyway. But you see this thickness and this yellowing? These are blue eyes. And so when you see a yellowish orange look in a blue eye, as a rule, that's sulfur from antibiotics. Look at these deep lacuna. These are actually would be called more crypts because they're deeper, you know, and these patterns are pretty deep and black. And this is all in the throat and parathyroid gland, actually picking up part of the small bowel. The small bowel is wrapped on the inside of the nose or the eye toward facing the nose here, and you see how dark this is. That's the parathyroid in there. So I'd definitely be working on my parathyroid. If I move up here, this is her brother, here's pituitary, and here's why they have insomnia. See that dark black line there? That's actually advanced weakness, and it cuts right through the pineal gland. This cuts right through the pituitary gland, and there's other markings in the brain as well. All back here in the cerebellum, equilibrium dizzy center. Now there's enough reflection here to where I lose my ability to be accurate. But this you see how this part of the bowel swung down a little closer to the pupil here than over here? That's prolapsus. So his hepatic, which is liver, his hepatic flexure, the flexure of the curve here, has prolapsed down toward the, and is sunken down. This is in the stomach as well, these black areas in the stomach. So this is a GI tract needing a lot of work, a lot of GI broom. Malabsorption, look how thick this wall is in here, so a lot of mucus is going to come out of here, and you want to see it as the same color. But if you look through the eye here, this is a lot of lymph in this individual. He's lymphatic up bad, to the point where he looks like he has a hazel eye, when it's really, in fact, brown. This is the throat, so this gentleman is headed for a sore throat when he detoxifies. If I go real quick and just walk over to the left eye, I'm seeing a similar picture. Parathyroid, throat, and I'm talking about advanced state of decay. This, it could even though this is the throat, voice box area, this could pick up upper neck. And then you see over here a little blackness here, so he could actually get a little decay in his C-spine up here. When you come on down here, you're seeing all down the spine. Here's upper neck, mid-back, which is the thoracic spine, lumbar, and coccyx. Matter of fact, this guy is all the way down to the bladder. There's some serious bladder and prostate weaknesses here. Here's a serious kidney, upper femur going into the hip here, and here's the hip on the left side. If I come over here, I've got a knee that's not happy. I've got a groin and appendix that's not happy. Kidney's better with a couple of little spots in there. But thick lymph, see all that white? That's thick. That should be blue color. Then we're picking up lower back. Maybe that can be a little prostate tucked up in there. See that little bitty one right there? That can be the prostate or the bladder. This is mid-back right here. And so this gentleman wants to get some work here. Now look at these little black spots here. Now see these little black spots right here? My biggest fear, and we've talked about this with Marcy a lot, and I try to educate everyone here, is the fact that if you've got a case, and this is for you Facebook people, if you've got a case and you've got tumors and you've got cancers and you've got, a chronic lymphatic problem, and you've got them fasting, you've got them on the fruits, you've got them on the herbs, and you don't see a change, it's possible that their lymph nodes have decayed. And this is the biggest fear we face, not just the removal. You're all seeing the removal of lymph nodes, like that one case, and how bad it can be. And I really miss filming that. Remember the guy with the hole in his head? It went right up in there. He'd come here sleeping in his van out back. Yeah, that guy. We wanted to do a video together, and I kicked myself in the ass for not doing that, because while he was alive, he could tell you, and the story would be in your face. It was so gruesome what not to do. And removing lymph nodes are high on that list. These medical doctors don't realize what they're doing when they remove lymph nodes. And this looks like a lymph node decay here. Could just be a spot in the liver. Here's a little gallbladder going on here. So you want to get into the liver gallbladder, that's for sure. A lot of congestion in the hip here, though, and suggestion of maybe a little pancreatic weakness as well. So this is a case where you want to get in, you clean up those bowels, you get the kidneys and adrenals up, because the left side here, you've got a lot of these lacunas. You got them, and this is the colon. So what you have here is a ballooning of the descending bowel, and maybe even some pocketed areas, and then you have a spastic or prolapsed sigmoid flexure, and then you've got sigmoid problems right here, turning into a rectal flexure, and the rectum. So this could have hemorrhoids, all kinds of problems here in the rectal area. So needless to say, this eye needs to return itself to blue. This GI tract needs a lot of work. Get up in the head. See how this is moving out? This is moving out in the left ear, left cerebellum area, and mastoid area. This will lead to nothing but equilibrium problems, vertigo, lightheadedness, flipping blood pressures. Now, again, we're back into more insomnia-type experiences. We're back into more pineal and pituitary here. So this gentleman. Now, so let's look at his sister, Rosanna, and see if we see any similarities. But great picture to show you guys, one, this rim right around a lacuna or crypt, and the fact that that's lymph and why it's so hard to rebuild that. And then these are real outstanding to show you the depth of these. And black. By the way, if we turned these eyes sideways, this part would be pulled way up. The acute stages begin to pull these eye fibers up off the eye. Then the subacute more. The chronic even more, pulling the fibers up off the eye.
Like hills. Mountains.
Yeah, like hills and mountains. Absolutely. Yeah. But then notice when the tissue starts to die, it just punches a hole right through the eye. So, since the eye is just simply a monitor of the brain, what's going on in the brain that identifies cells that are dying in the body to punch a hole in the fiber of the eye? I mean, this is pretty far out. I mean, this should make you more of a God lover as we learn things. It just, now this is the female, and you begin to see the way they took these pictures. I like this because, and you can do it. You know, we can do it with not with the new camera we have.
What did they use?
Well, I don't know. It looks like they used a high-intensity light on this side to give a 3D look down through there. And it was the particular angle that they had with that, even though you got darkness here, which is unfortunate, but you have that 3D look. And if you get your side lights just right, a ring flash or a straight-on flash, kind of like our new one. Now, it does show 3D, but the old ways were limited in that.
Now it pops out.
Now it pops out. Well, the difference between my old camera and the one Jensen gave me, I can see more 3D with the one Jensen gave me, but not this much, unless I monkey with the light. And then I can get that 3D look.
You can see where they placed the lights, though.
Yeah.
See?
But you can see the depth of these holes in the eye. Why would there be a hole in the eye right there? Why would it be similar with all the genetic ones? What relationship? So there's so many great questions that can ask for the naysayers of the world, you know? Well, are they just there for no reason? And that's the thing is, God does do nothing for no reason. Hence the Ponderosa lemon. Okay, so this is sister, and look, she has a similar color, similar bowel layout. Look at that, thick, looks like sulfur or chronic lymph. She has similar lacunas in similar places. This eye looks a little better than the brother, to tell you the truth. But look at the bowel problems. Even stomach, when you see it coming out of the pupil there, that's a stomach wrapped around the pupil. So there's some darkness all around here. So she's having stomach problems, no question. See all that darkness in the stomach? Now some of it's shadows, so you have to remember that. It's enough to say that digestion of proteins wouldn't be something you'd want to do because the stomach is weak. So when you have a weak stomach and you see potential decay in places, why would you want to inspire more hydrochloric acid knowing that proteins are the worst thing you want to consume? You don't. You never want to inspire. Anybody that has stomach cancer, gastroparesis, anything with digestion, why would you want to give them protein? That would be the opposite you would want to do. But this is all, and these are radius solaris, working their way up in your genetic line, sweetheart, all the way up into the brain here. Now these aren't deep up into the head area, but they're moving that way. This is your pineal gland and your pituitary, and you've got that same genetics. Here's your nerve rings, and here's your adrenal gland. See how chronic that adrenal gland is? Your kidney's not too bad, but here's a knee. Here's a right knee, and here's an appendix. Again, going back to brother, appendix is not real happy here. You have a little ballooning, and this ballooning is close to the right breast area. Here's a little hip. Over here's more throat. Here's a little parathyroid going on here. Brother's got much worse. Here is the upper neck. Okay, so you got C-spine, you got mid-back, and this might even translate into some lower back here. This is probably uterine tucked up in there, that little black one, probably the uterus. And that would be a uterus that needs to be cleaned out and worked with, or decay or atrophy can settle in. Now, I'm coming over here on this side. Are you pretty good there? Mm-hmm. And I can see the same thing up in the uterus right in this area here. Now, this is the kidney and adrenal gland. Even though these show deep, if you get a frontal picture, it probably won't be as deep showing, but it does show you the genetic weaknesses of this family's kidney and adrenals. And you see this picture after picture after picture. You can literally identify the adrenal glands. In 80% of the cases, the kidneys, because there are people with adrenal weaknesses, the kidneys aren't so bad, which is great. But you rarely see someone with healthy adrenals. It's so rare, in fact, that I'm shocked when I see someone. So here we have kidney and adrenals, and those are pretty dark. And then we're over here to the left hip, the left ovary, bronchial trunks, and again, the same kind of transverse colon here. Biggest weakness you have is that transverse, and I don't like how this stomach looks here either. You're starting to get up in that left ear mastoid area, medulla area that your brother is right over here. But again, these are blue eyes moving their way to brown. Mm-hmm. So, someone says, well, I want to know how to get started. I tell you, the first thing you do to get started is your diet. Everyone seems to know that. And the YouTube, the Facebook people are so great that they'll be there to help you. And but the diet is key. Then you want to move to what parts of the body do you want to deal with. And in these videos, you're understanding that the lymphatic system is the system we're after. And therefore, so therefore, what are you going to start with? You want to always start with your eliminative organs. So you want to clean up your GI tract and your kidneys and adrenals. So we talk about the Fab Four all the time, but it's simply put that kidneys always, endocrine glands always, GI tract always. 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 Whether you take one formula or two. Always. Kidney always, adrenals, but the endocrine glands, including pituitary, thyroids, parathyroid, always, and GI tract, always. Always. Because you will not find someone healthier in any of those levels. You just won't find someone that's super healthy there. Now, this person sent in a picture of, looks like skin. These are what acids do. This is what acids and fungus and all this do in the body, But take a look at this skin ring right around here. And this is this darker area around the iris here, and that's skin. Now, a lot of people don't realize the skin is an instrument, is an organ that breathes and eliminates, and therefore it's made of cells, and it has two fluids that deals with them, just like everywhere else. So, now this GI tract, not like the other one, is real close to the pupil. Now, some people have said that's because the bowels are smaller in diameter and all that. I don't know if I go with that. I don't know. Now, one thing I don't like in this, you see this hazy look in the pupil? And if you look real close, there is a little bit of a hazy look getting in the top here, which, not to that point, but at a certain point, we'll call that arcus senilis. But that reminds me of what a cataract looks like. So this person looks like they're getting cataracts. That's what it looks like to me. And the right one in particular. If you look up in the sinuses, this is a blue eye, no question. All this white in this blue eye is lymph. You see thick lymph up in the left sinus and up in the left head area. See it around the skin area. Lymph nodes are swollen in places. But you also see that white rim around the bowel. And then look how dark the bowel is. And you see that dark rim around the pupil, that's malabsorption. And you'll see that dark rim around the pupil when you see this white rim around the bowels. And that's simply put that this is lymph stagnation in the bowel wall that's created the inability to absorb nutrients through it, and therefore you are squeezing off this bowel. And look how their gut looks so much darker. So this is the person having a lot of GI tract problems, stomach problems. Let's go over digestively here. Now, this looks more like hip on this side right here, but there is a gallbladder stuck up right in here and a lot of lymph involved in the pancreas. So I would get a hold of my liver and gallbladder, get a formula for that, clean that out, detox the lymph system, because even the gallbladder and liver is just a bunch of cells with blood and lymph. This is a strong constitution person. Notice they didn't have any deep lacunas and things like this. So this is a good eye to clean up. Good body to go after.
Constitution's strong.
Your constitution's strong. You want to hit hard with that. Here's a little throat and parathyroid, thyroid a little bit here. Not bad. Here's a little parathyroid. The fibers, when you start to see these fibers starting to get a little curvy, you want to look at parathyroid. That's connective tissue. You won't find that in your books. All these blood vessels here in the sclera just shows inflammation or acidosis. Look how thick this lymph is down the back. This all goes down the right back of the person. And look at all these blood vessels related to the back here. This is in the forehead up here, and you have this little squiggly line related to that forehead weakness right there. So to clean up the skin, since the skin is a big part of the lymphatic system, wouldn't it stand to reason you must clean up the lymphatic system? Mm-hmm.
Big time.
But this person has great genes. Let's see. Hello all the way from South Africa. Holy roly. I am a big fan of your videos. Hey, thank you so much, my friend, and wish there were more people like you in the world. Well, we're making them, and you're one of them. You know, this is the thing. You guys, we're imprinting ourselves. We're God people. We're imprinting ourselves around the world. So, you know, you're one of them, my friend. I'm contacting you because I'm getting very worried about my mother. She is a 59-year-old woman, fairly young, is suffering with a range of problems. As a family, we have never been too fond of the allopathic medicines and have always tried the natural route. I am currently trying to study iridology, as I believe combined with other techniques. Well, it's a diagnostic tool for sure. It can be a very good tool for keeping healthy. Your videos have been great teaching tools. Oh, thanks, man. Not nearly common enough to help anyone. So, well, you know what? You don't have to know all the laws of iridology and everything. You have to know how to detox people. Put people on raw diets, a lot of fruits, berries, and melons. Put them on a few herbs for the kidneys, the endocrine glands, and the bowels, the Fab Four. You know, simple. Keep it simple and just go after their health. You'll start cleaning the body out. You start cleaning the skin up. I'm going to condense all the problems into bullet form so that it's faster and easier. Okay. Extremely high blood pressure. Believe it to be from hormone cream. Well, definitely you get them off the hormone creams. I mean, no one wants to be on hormone creams. You want to make your glands healthy because being on hormone creams makes your gland weaker. So, yeah, you don't want to do that. If this is your mother, this mother of yours has great genes. This mother of yours has lymphatic and stomach and bowel problems for sure, and skin weaknesses here. But this lady can fix herself up and get herself so strong it's not even funny. With a little focus here and a good year or so work, clean up these bowels. This is coming, and it's not good. It's dark in the stomach. It's dark in the bowels. I don't like all these little things, and then there's a little gallbladder coming. So you want to really clean this up. Get the kidneys filtered. Get this little adrenal. There's a little bitty adrenal weakness. Not bad. Now here's a good client. A very little kidney weakness. A little bitty adrenals. Great, great, great. Maybe a little uterine. Not bad. A little more adrenal here on the right side, on the left side, but still not bad. Now, here's a genetic heart weakness. See how it looks like a football? See how that lesion looks like a football? That is a perfect genetic heart lesion right there. So what I do with Mom is use the heart formula and just strengthen this heart up, knowing that the heart's just a 4-chambered organ, or a gate system, valve and gate system, and just a holding chambers, and with a gate system. Clean it out, enhance the nervous system through the adrenals, get your blood flowing good, which is easy to do when you're on the raw. All that's all good, and strengthen that heart up.
How about upper circ and brain and nerve?
Upper circ, brain and nerve when it's heart. Lower circ.
Right.
Upper circ is really head up, and lower circ is from head, shoulders down.
They can spend, they can alternate, right?
You can alternate. You can use both of them.
Right.
You know, both of them. Let me see. So, extremely high blood pressure. First of all, I would get the kidneys. I go for the kidneys because if this blood pressure is always high, it's your kidneys. If it's flipping high, low, it's her neck. Even though there's not a lot going on in the cerebellum up here and in the mastoid, you still see a lot of inflammation up here. And the same thing here with the left side, although you see this little bitty weakness in the cerebellum, this could all be the cerebellum. Either way, you've got to clean and restore health. And that cleaning restores health, because why you lose health, of course, is the buildup of acids and mucus, blah, 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 blah. So this lady's got great genes to turn this around, though, and pull this high blood pressure out of her. That's important to do. Hot flashes on and off since '07. So here's the pituitary right here. There's the pituitary weakness. And I's 59. She's not menstruating probably. So I would go into the pituitary for one bottle, one in the morning and one in the evening, and see if I can't pop up that pituitary. Here's another pituitary here on the left side. So I would say you're looking at pituitary's influence on the thyroid. It's what I would say. A lot of mucus in the thyroid. Clean all that out. Get the pituitary enhanced. And that'll pull her out of these hot flashes. Jaundice, boils, styles as a little girl. Okay, so that doesn't surprise me because I'm back over here at gallbladder again and liver. I'm not surprised at all. I would be working on that since this goes way back. Stomach ulcers, I'm not surprised. Look at the darkness around the stomach. You see that darkness? I'm not surprised at all. This is stomach stuff. Like I say, steer her away from proteins, boiled ovarian cysts. Migraines, I could see migraines here. The ovarian cyst, that's the lymph system. Almost constant constipation throughout her life. Well, you don't have a strong bowel. I mean, this to me, you have a heavy lymph in the wall, which makes the bowel less pliable for nerve response. Also, you have a very weakened bowel area. It's colon, large bowel and small bowel. So I can see why, and with a little adrenal weakness, you don't move well. But by cleaning, restoring, filtering, and enhancing the nervous system through the adrenals, you'll take care of that pretty easy. Skin breakout on her arms and legs. It doesn't want to go away. And it's not going to go away until you fix the kidneys and filtration. And that's just what we're saying here to see on the skin. You see a bit of a skin ring, which is weakness in the skin. And then just lots of lymphs behind that. Very acid person that lives on nerves. Well, absolutely can see that. See it in her skin. See it in her eye thing. Balance problems. So we're going back. Now that he said, this is YouTube guys, now listen, on Facebook, listen, he's saying that she has extremely high blood pressure. You want to ask, the next question would be, is it always high? Or does she have, when she's at home relaxing, is it down low? Does it flip? High one minute, low the next? That would definitely fall right in line with balance problems because it goes right into the cerebellum at the back of the head here. Remember that. And you see a little weakness here and a little weakness here in the cerebellum and a lot of lip. So for now, it's inflammation and swelling. It's making her out of balance. It can create vertigo, all kinds of problems from there. Swinging blood pressure that can get very, very high. Neurolymphatics down the spine, get the kidneys filtering. Either way, you've got to address that problem because as she gets older, she'll start getting the tremors and stuff, and you don't want that. She's getting the setup for MS here, and you don't want to do that. Highly sensitive skin. My mother was recently put on a hormone replacement cream, which the doctor said was critical, otherwise she would get cancer. Oh my God! Look at that crap. It's important that you take this hormone cream or you're going to get cancer. It is sickening that doctors force people to take things through fear. I know it does. Well, this is quite in-depth here, and I'm not... my mother started using the cream, and it stopped her blood pressure, went over 200, and we all believe it to be the hormone replacement cream. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you want to be... You know what? Don't replace hormones with synthetics. Rebuild the gland and make it healthy to produce its own. It's that simple. She's been struggling with hot flashes. Went through that. She had stomach ulcers. We're studying everything. Absolutely. So, this is Geraldine. All right, sweetheart. Well, Geraldine, go fix your mom, honey, because and if Geraldine, you got these kind of genes, you got some great genes, but here's the GI tract, here's the lymphatic systems, and you can count on those each and every time. You can take that to the bank. Yeah, I'm going to go down and borrow $1 million on the fact that you can take this to the bank.
Oh, yeah.
This is like a female. Yeah, Michelle.
I like those.
Michelle, my belle. Now, nice eyelashes. Look at those. Okay, Michelle. That's what I thought. Do I have two left? No, got right and a left. I thought I was looking at those back aspirates. Okay. All right, so let's go. The first thing we talk about when someone says, what do I do? Well, how do I start? Well, you know the diet's number one, all right? And you know our feeling on fruits and berries and melons and all the good stuff. So herbal-wise, don't make it hard. First of all, you want to address your kidneys. That's the first thing you want to think about. I want to address my kidneys and my GI tract. Those are the two eliminative organ areas that get beat up the most and that fail the people the most, and that you see the most problems with. The kidneys being so systemic and so involved with the processes of everything from cancer to lupus to Lyme's to all the things we talked about in the last video. So when you take on an eye, I'm always pulled right into the pupil, of course, because this is the center of the hub. This is the flower, right? So when you look at this pupil, you see a darker... Look at how that light lights up when it hits that light. Is that wild?
That's interesting.
That's interesting. Look how dark it is. Now look when I hit this.
Here, hold on.
Look at this. It's like the light is still there. Is that wild? So you see this dark light around the pupil. That's malabsorption ring. So you're going right out here. Now, when you're looking at this center ring here, see that's totally different than out here. That's your GI tract. And this is a fairly, decent shaped GI tract. You got some Humpty Dumptys here a little bit. See how we talked about in earlier how these lacunas can come in and make a little V impression in the colon wall. That's because this is genetics. The embryo, this is the embryo trunk right here, the embryonic trunk. This is right here, the embryonic trunk. This is why it's so cool to understand that as you lay the embryo on this or your GI tract on this, then you get to see all the weaknesses that came out of that and how it affected the wall itself. So it really is a lot of good information here. Notice that this is a little darker than out here. Shouldn't be. So you got to work on your GI tract a little bit. You have some swellings or herniations here in the GI tract and can become diverticulums, things like this. Now, this is a pretty big accentuated area here. And let me take a look at this. Yeah, this is right at hip and pancreatic area right here. And this is going all the way up to the stomach, invading the wall and going right down this way. So we're looking at, and there's enough here to say that that's probably pancreas and hip going on. But that's a big pancreatic weakness. And that takes right in. This is the ileocecal valve in here too. The valve between the small bowel and the colon, or the large bowel. And my feeling is you probably have a little weakness in the ileocecal valve, which also reflects the gallbladder. So now I'm seeing pancreatic and gallbladder weaknesses, and that's where I would use the liver, gallbladder formulas, and pancreatic formulas and work with this, these genetics here. Now we're getting into the arm here, the right arm, and we're moving into the right breast area. And this is the right breast area. I don't like this. There's a weakness in that right breast. I don't like this whole look. A lot of lymph in the wall. And see that little white dot? That's a lymph node. And that looks to be in your lower lobe of your right lung. So, and there's a little dark pattern in that lower lobe, and even a little expression in the mid lobe. So I would definitely put myself on the lungs formula as I'm cleaning my body out sometime, and start cleaning my lungs out, because you need to get these lymph nodes broken loose and eliminated and strengthen this lung up. You begin to see the lymph nodes over here starting to form. Notice these lymph nodes are touching this skin. And what's how interesting to me is when you see how close the lymph nodes are tied into the skin and how the body set itself up for elimination. I think that when the next physiology book's written, somebody with a head and knows how to look at the body a little differently should write it. Because there's a lot of knowledge we can learn understanding the eyes and relationship to anatomy and physiology as well. Now, the one thing that stands out quite evident here is her skin. This is a very large skin ring around both eyes here. The light's straight on, so it's not a reflection. This is definitely skin. So you got a real weak skin, sweetheart, and you really want to take a look and clean the skin, get your thyroid up and start sweating. A lot of congestion in the thyroid, a little bit of a weakness here. Here's another bit of a weakness in the parathyroid as well, and thyroid, and you got a little white nodule there. In time, you might get little nodules in the thyroid, and it starts out like this, that little white thing right there. A lot of mucus in the throat area, probably a little sore throat coming, a lot of mucus discharge, a lot of congestion in the upper neck area. You see that here. Then you get into the mid-back and lower back left side. Not so much on the right, which is good. A little lower back on the right, but really a lot more here in the left side with the mid and lower back areas. We're picking up a little bladder. We're picking up a lot's going on in this space where you see all these dark areas here. See how they're defined? All these dark areas. Right here you have a leg. You have a kidney and adrenal. You have a scrotum or female, you have rectal, you have vaginal, uterine, and bladder. All involved here, and to me you have a weakness in all those areas, including the coccyx and lower back. And that's a genetic pass to you. Now notice how you're getting some ballooning here. See on this is your descending colon. And this is probably your weaker colon. Right here is the splenic flexure. This relates to left arm, left ear area. But as we start to Humpty Dumpty, and right here is a genetic heart weakness right here. And then we start to see a ballooning of the sigmoid flexure, and even more in the sigmoid, this ballooning here, which is putting maybe pressure on the left ovary. A lot of lymph going on in the left chest wall, breast area and stuff. You really need to clean your lymphs, and your head and sinuses are loaded, sweetheart. Really backed up here, hints of sulfur here, hints of iodine here, thick sinus congestion up here. Got to break all that loose. But blue eyes, he's got a lot of lymph and bowel work. Get the kidneys. I'd be douching with some Hill-All tea and also taking a female reproductive formula. Refurbishing the skin. The liver, gallbladder, herbs are good for the skin, so that'll be helpful for that. Maybe some hot saunas, get yourself sweating. All the blood vessels are just showing you're full of inflammation. Acidosis. This is Michelle. Thanks, sweetheart, for your lovely comments. She's a 40-year-old female, mother of 3. Wow. Well, this is Michelle here. Remember your kids. Because you got good genes, and these aren't, notice these aren't as deep Let's go back and look at this one a minute. Can you show this, Drew, here? See, when you're down looking at these, they're not as deep as these. See, you see black under these, where you don't see so much of that under these. So these are not as deep, but as time goes on down line, these will become deeper, 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 darker, darker, and the tissue will be responsive to that. In other words, not responsive at all. So that's why you nip these in the bud. And you got 3 kids going on here. So you want to show them this video and have a picture of their eyes and look at their eyes for you. I think you're looking at some GI tract, a skin on them. You're looking at kidney and adrenals, no question, but that's pretty much standard issue today. I could nitpick you here. And, you know, in little bitty spots, this is all cerebellum back here. A lot of lymph going on in the cerebellum. So you're up for equilibrium, dizzy, vertigo problems, tremors, and you get older, things like this. Also encompasses the right ear, this right shoulder, a lot of inflammation in the right shoulder. So, you know, we can pick, but you know what? You see everything. So if you tell people too much, though, it puts a lot of fear in them. So you have to be careful. Dr. Jensen told me one day, he says, well, do you tell your clients everything? And I said, pretty much. He said, I only tell them 4 things. He said, because I don't want to freak them out. Yeah. I said, no, I pretty much tell it like it is, Doc. Mm-hmm. You know, because you want to know. These are real hard to see. Who is this? Karynna.
So we can show at least that's what's hard to read. Karynna?
Karynna? Left eye.
Karynna, yep, Karynna.
And Karynna, right eye. Female, a 21-year-old female. First off, let me see. Thank you for everything and the information. Oh, thank you, sweetheart. I appreciate it. Just anything to help you guys get well. This is a sick world here. I try to watch all your vids. You are providing openly for people to see. I try to. I have always loved to help the people. Oh, good. This is a good-hearted female right here. Good spiritual person around me with natural things. She tried to help people with natural things. She enjoys the health videos. Thank you, sweetheart. I have been doing fasting for some time now, on and off, especially for the past year. Awesome. I've been a meat eater and always tried to get off of it, but always ended up going back. Of course, most people do a little bit, you know. Thanks to your parasitic formulas, I have not eaten any meat for some good 6 months. Yeah. Now, I think, and don't have any cravings. A big, huge thanks. Oh, yeah, man. To get away from animal products is the best thing you could ever do. And being that the animals are so toxic today with the feeds and the air and everything, you're just buying into that. Not to mention the whole other part of that. Now, I do eat fish, though, and have some dairy. No dairy, honey. No dairy. Smack your hand, honey. And there, because I grew up on dairy, and it's very hard, but I'm working on it. Yeah, Ixay, use on that.
Well, fish, too. Fish is highly toxic.
Fish is, but dairy, if you said a piece of fish or a glass of ice cream or milk, I'm going to go eat the fish.
Yeah, I would, too.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, because you have mucus in, mucus out. Pretty much how that goes. You want to spend all that time with headaches and cold and flu-like symptoms and bronchitis and pneumonias and mucus coming out. And you're not feeling good. That's what dairy products give you. I'm constantly trying to detox myself since September. I have been doing the master cleanse. Wow, this lady's kicking butt.
Awesome.
Yeah, and she's only 21 years old.
Nice job.
I would miss the lemon. That's how old I was when I started being a fruitarian. I would miss the lemon and raw honey instead of the agave, but no pepper. Oh, you can use honey, absolutely, but no pepper because it would be hard. You know, I don't believe in the cayenne pepper. That's Stanley Burroughs. I mean, Stanley Burroughs just do a little twist on the lemon juice fast. Big deal. I never use the pepper in my lemon juice because I don't like cayenne pepper. I don't like anything hot.
Maple syrup?
Maple syrup, maybe. Honey, better. Maple syrup and agave has been cooked to death, so. Right. But maple syrup, I mean, there's nothing to it. Honey would be okay.
That's awesome.
It's just that Stanley Burroughs didn't like honey because he was afraid of diabetes. It's like, oh, please. Remember, we are the new world. The old days and all the old greats laid out a lot of stuff for us. We're just refining that. And I expect you YouTubers and Facebook people to refine what I did, and proud of it when you do. Are you kidding? I love people that make things better. And that's what we're here to
work with them.
Oh, man, I love them. I do too, Drew. I do too. Now, let's go on. I will still see a lot of detox in my eyes, going to work on my lymphatic system, da-da-da-da-da. I attach 4 pictures of my eyes so that you can choose. Okay, thank you. Oh, thanks, honey. All right, here we go. The one thing, first, sweetheart, that really pulls me. Now, these are hard to read. Notice these are not clear pictures, so they're real hard to read pictures. Okay, sweetie? I can only say it appears that you have brown eyes. Down here is questionable, but everything is so brown, I think you truly have light brown eyes. This would be a light brown color. See this darker brown in your eye? That's all around your GI tract. And I might add, see that real dark ring around the outside of your eye? That's your skin ring. And you have a large skin ring. So you really have to work on your skin. Yeah, scrub it, dry brush it, get yourself to a SOTA, not an infrared. Get yourself, yeah, look at there. It's still hard to tell. I think she's got brown eyes. It would be a stretch. She had blue eyes. She'd really be chronically toxic. And I think that really they're brown. But you see these are lacuna, radius solaris going up, and sweetheart, this is cutting up through your pituitary right here. This one, see that dark one right there? This is going up toward the forehead. Might impact the pineal in your rest. Right here looks more like the pineal. So pituitary, pineal, that would be a little insomnia or rest problems. And you can have a weakness and not have that too, by the way. You don't always have to have insomnia when you have a weak pineal gland. But generally, as a rule, it affects your ability to sleep well. But this pituitary is a little chronic right here. And if we go over to the left eye, we're seeing the same thing. And here, we're picking up a more chronic pineal gland. So this lady probably has some rest issues. This pituitary can affect growth, menses. Now, I don't like this. This is back toward the cerebellum, left ear area, cerebellum. That could yield you some serious equilibrium, things like that problem. So you want to really drain your sinuses. Get your bowels cleaned up. This is all dark around your bowels here. Now look at your left kidney, See that dark line right there? Now you got real good genes, but this one dark line goes right through your left kidney. And this is all in your hip. Because this kidney isn't filtering, you've got a lot of lymph stuck in that hip. You're not getting it up. And that can give you lower back, or you know how you get those little swelling there on the hip area there. Then we're picking up some bladder and lower back perhaps over here on the left side. Right side, a little more kidney, not too bad. Hard to see if this is female vaginal wall. Looks like some chronic uterine lymph. Real hard to see here. That looks like a little right hip. But this takes out, I can't see anything here. So that's what I see, sweetheart. A lot of lymph. This is your true color. That light right there, and you see it over here, that's your true color. All these darker areas are lymph involvement for you with the brown eyes. And these darker lines here have to come out. But I'll say for 21 years old, heavy lymph, chronic GI tract, pituitary that could be affecting thyroid and parathyroid. This might be tonsil or parathyroid here. A skin that's not filtering for you, that's for sure, and a kidney on the left side that at least that one isn't. So you want to get all that fixed up, get into the lymph, see why we start with the kidneys, the GI tract, and the lymphatic system and the endocrine glands, because that is at the core. Now, I also go after the liver for the first month to 2 months, knowing that the herbs in the liver gallbladder for me are going to come over and hit my pancreas, knowing that the herbs in the liver gallbladder for me is going to go over and touch my skin. I'm going to use the liver gallbladder for a month and a half to 2 months. It's in the first 2-week kit, and I throw it in the next month because that's a great formula. The great Barber's family is a great family, high iron herbs. So it gives the body a lot of iron. It gets in there and helps to resurrect gallbladders and livers and pancreases and touches the skin. There's a pharmaceutical company that has a psoriasis formula, and it's all Oregon grapefruit.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Well, for years, people align the skin or the liver and the skin together. And that when the liver's toxic, the skin's toxic. I don't feel that way anymore now that I understand the role of the kidneys. Really, what happened in the earlier years is that the liver took the place of the kidneys. So people said, you got to detox, you got to clean your liver, but it's not an eliminative organ. Your liver doesn't poop to the outside world. It doesn't pee to the outside world. It's a chemical manufacturing. When you study it even deeper, you'll come to the realization that the liver is a chemical manufacturing plant. Well, we got a couple of, holy crap, I got all kinds of stuff going on here. Well, it's hard when we have too many eyes. This is Adam. He's a male. These are two Adam's eyes. All right, Adam. What do we got going on here? We have 3 different eyes here. Just wondering if you could pass these on to Dr. Morse. I understand it's very... Anyway, if you can't, it's fine. I have been researching health for years now and have done a lot on iridology and diet, etc. to do the best I can for my good man here. Oh, no, this is Annie. Annie, good woman. Good woman. I had a massive health crisis 3 years ago that gave me the wake-up call. I had allowed those around me to sway me from good eating, and it nearly cost me my life. Oh my God. So now I pursue health and wholeness without guilt. As you should, dear. That is your right. It's all our right to be healthy, and if anybody wants to wallow with the pigs, eat the meats, take the dairies, and enjoy disease, have at it. We don't have to join them. Don't join people that want to wreck their lives because you guys are on the road to Wellville. Let anybody that wants to walk the road to Hellville, go ahead. They'll end up coming to you or us one day. You know, the photos below are 1, my husband Adam, 2, me Annie, and our daughter Bonnie. Oh, look, Bonnie. I like that name, Bonnie. Mm-hmm. I can read most of the things in the eyes, I think, basically, but I'm interested in the doc's advice on how to fix them. I am using juice fasting at the moment. I have been pretty strict in my diet over the years and have not eaten the SAD, Standard American Diet, much at all. However, I think I started pretty low as a dark brown eyes as a baby and dark circles and badly constipated even as a baby. I was also given loads of antibiotics as a baby. That must be the one with all the antibiotics here. Let's see. Yep, you were given lots of antibiotics, dear. Wait till we get to her eyes, guys. Holy crap. Oh, yeah, she's had a lot of pharmaceuticals, and you can see them. All right. I'm not sure how to help my adrenal glands. Get a glandular, first of all. That's my take on it. You either got 2 choices, an herbal formula or glandular. The herbal formula, just remember all the berries, blueberries, blackberries, raspberry, all the berries are glandular. Saw palmetto berries, chase tree berries, all the berries are for the glands of the body. So let's look at the husband Adam. All right, Adam. See all this white in your eye, Adam? This is all heavy lymph and mucus. Got a lot in your sinuses right side and up in the head area. If you're not careful, you're going to get a little arcus senilis going on here, cholesterol plaquing. Don't see a lot of it right now, but you're getting some indication you're going to move through cataracts if you're not careful. So here, all this lymph, all this white stuff is all heavy lymph. Here's lymph nodes. See all these little white headlights here? See that little white? That little white, that's lymph nodes. So your lymph nodes are backed up in a couple places. This is in the throat of the thyroid gland. This is what breeds these little polyps in people. This is the throat area, so there's a wicked sore throat coming near to Adam. Here is parathyroid, thyroid, and that tonsil, right tonsil's not very happy either. Also, we see a little upper neck involvement, a little mid to lower back involvement here. Not heavy. Now, even though these are big, notice they're not very deep. Remember the deep ones we looked at? Well, look at the difference here between these lacunas here and go over to Adam's left kidney. That's right. Look at that left kidney, Adam. And see that black in there? You're getting some decay in that left kidney, and I don't like that one little bit. So, Adam, you must work on your kidneys. And this will help this kidney because the right kidney is not a lot happier than the left, but it's still involved here. So you have kidney and adrenals that you must pay attention to, along with that little prostate going on up in here, so you want to kind of get that cleaned out. Little rectal wall weakness going on there. Here we got an Adam lower back on the left side, mid back, upper neck. So all down your back, Adam, you've got weaknesses on the left side, and all down your back, Adam, you got weaknesses on the right. Now they're not real deep, but and they're easier to work out because you really have good genes. You know, this is surface stuff, so you'll be able to pull this out of here. You might want to do this with yourself and your children before you have any more. Now, this is bronchial trunk. So there might be some bronchitis coming as this comes on. Thick lymph. See that thick white? It's all lymph. Little pituitary going on here. Again, this is all bronchi and lung stuff, lower lobe. Chest wall, though. See this darkness in the chest wall? This is probably just a little below the right breast area, lower rib area, a little weakness there, a weakness in the right arm and elbow. Here's the liver, needs attention here. Your liver and gallbladder needs attention. And by the way, clean your pancreas out. You got a lot of lymph going on in the pancreas. That's how you get tumors going on, is that thick lymph and that little, you barely see it. See that, Drew? Very little thing, but heavy lymph around it. That's pancreatic. A little tinge of yellow here, could be subacute coming into play here, or a little sulfur. You see a little orangish look here, so probably a little sulfur in there. This is how you move from acute, which is white, to subacute, which is yellow. Now, this is at the bronchial trunk, but it's real close to the heart area. So I don't know what to tell you. Now, this one's almost an open lesion. It's almost open here, not closed off. Open ones, this is all open here. Better, easier to rebuild than when they're closed off like this one. See how that has a total surround around it, where these are open here. Much better to have an open lesion like that, or lacuna. This is all heavy bronchial weaknesses all through the left bronchial trunk, some through the right. Lymph nodes swollen in the shoulder here, in the upper lobe of the left lung. This is the spleen area. You want to clean your spleen up and resurrect the spleen on the chest wall. You have a little bit going on here in the chest wall here. So you really, Adam, you want to clean yourself out here, get your bowels cleaned up, get your kidneys filtered. You got to repair this kidney, because this is a kidney. You're going to lose it if you're not careful. And so you want to just get in the body, because you'll pull all these genes up and fix it, left being weaker than the right. Now, if you're talking about the wife, Annie, take a look at Annie's eyes, because she said she's been on a lot of antibiotics. What's your first clue? Annie, what's your first clue? Look at all the orange. Look at the orange in this eye. What color is Annie's eyes? I have to tell you, I'm going to throw my money to blue. I'm going to throw my money to blue eyes. Chronic bowel. See that chronic thick brown around the pupil? That's a chronic GI tract. If I'm on the left side, there's your left adrenal gland, Annie. Chronic. And then this could be the rectal flexure or the part of the uterus. You can map it out, since you know iridology, map that out, but that's either uterus or part of the bladder there, or rectal flexure, but it looks like probably the uterus. Then you got the adrenal glands. Here the knee and the left leg isn't real happy either. And then we go to this left hip, and this left hip is not happy at all here. Here's a sore spot, which means who knows the hell what these are, but it's nothing good, and that's at the left ovary. And that looks like, it almost looks like a decayed left ovary. That's what it looks like to me. But you see up here this thick reddish, brownish, orangish stuff. See how thick that is? That's sewage. Right there you can see her blue eye underneath there, so it gives you a good idea that she has blue eyes. Here's a skin weakness too. She's not filtering well. Good genes, but chronic bowels again. You know, this is common. This is why I say, always go after the bowels, always. And you got a little cataract look here. The nerve rings, see all these nerve rings? Now, she's got good genes here. Now, we've got a little pancreatic going on here. This could be arm or gallbladder, honey. You have to look it up and see when you map it out here. I haven't mapped your eyes out because way too much work. Way too much time, and I just wouldn't be able to get to all this. Now, this is right in the bronchial trunk. It looks like a genetic heart. but most of them are lower. This would be more your heart weakness. Now, you want to strengthen that heart and clean your lymph system. This heart area is thickened with lymph. That will do nothing good for the heart but shut it down, create cholesterol plaquing, and, you know, this isn't good. So you want to detox your whole bowels, your heart, everything out. That's bronchial trunk. But all in all, you got pretty good genes here, sweetheart. Stomach and bowels, you know, stomach, bowels, stomach, bowels, stomach, bowels, all over the place. High sulfur. So when you see an eye like that, this is what a rheumatoid arthritic eye looks like. This is a classic look of an RA eye. Heavy sulfur, which is fungus, which yields uric acid crystals. Well, uric acid crystals also comes from protein diets. Uric acid probably has more of a pH of 2.5 as opposed to 3 because it hurts like a little pinprick. So it's down there a little hotter. But these are blue eyes. You need to return them to blue, sweetheart. So when you see sulfur, you automatically know she's fighting fungus. Like nobody's business is she fighting fungus. And when you read that she was given this as a child, she has heavy, heavy candida problems. And I might mention to you, Annie, your lymph nodes are saturated here. And it looks like your sulfur has been, your body's tried to clean the sulfur out by pulling them to the lymph nodes with these kidneys. Now, here's your right kidney. It's not real happy either. Now, with these kidneys like this and not filtering, it locks it in the lymph nodes, and then the lymph nodes become solidified, and it's hard to move. So don't get upset when it takes you a while to detox your body. When you have lymph nodes that are full of sulfur and stuff, it's just going to take you a while. But it shows where your body was trying to do the right thing, and it does include the age of the sulfur. Had to be when she was a little girl. So you can see the thickness. The left eye gives the opportunity to see the thickness of her lymph system here as opposed to the right side. And all this stuff has to come out. That will free these weaknesses up to heal. But all these weaknesses are in case. See how dark these weaknesses are? Here's the hip. Here's an adrenal gland. Here's either a uterus probably in that area. Now let's look at the daughter. And the daughter is Bonnie. Now, which one do you think she takes after? Daddy or Mommy?
Dad.
Look at Daddy.
Let me take a look.
Yep. Here's Daddy versus daughter Bonnie. Mm-hmm. I would say that matches so much more. She's got all this going on in here, just like Daddy, than Mommy. She doesn't look like Mommy hardly at all, genetically wise.
Like night and day, right?
Almost. But here's with Bonnie. See all that thick white stuff that's up in her brain? She hasn't got a lot of it, but she definitely has a select. This is all lymph. And you can almost tell this mother's been doing some stuff with this child. Look at all these lymph nodes, though, and the lymph system here. This is the time to break this loose. This is sulfur. Sulfur in the child. If the child hasn't had any antibiotics, she's got them from you when she was in you. Here's a perfect stomach ring. You see that haze? And it's in a perfect circle immediately around the pupil. If I didn't know any better that this was a young child and all this light, you got that hazy look of this one's a real hazy look of a cataract. But you see how these fibers are wiggly? These fibers are not straight. They're all pretty wiggly. I would address the parathyroid. This is all thyroid, parathyroid, thyroid, parathyroid. I would address this young lady's thyroid and parathyroid, particularly the parathyroid, because if not, she could get into growing pains. She could get into poor bone growth, all types of problems, depression and things, because this is the first thing this is telling me is we need to strengthen this little girl's connective tissue. These fibers are too far apart and they're too wiggly. Connective tissue. So we really want to address this with the parathyroid. And you go to the thyroids. This little girl's got a lot of weaknesses all over the place. They're not deep, some of them, or most of them, but they're still around. So this is just, little girl will get herself healthy as time goes on. Do I have an age of Bonnie? No, I don't. So I can just say that the bowel needs to be cleaned up here. She doesn't have an overly amount of lymph, but see how thick this lymph is in the eye here? Here's kidney right here, and this takes after daddy's kidney. Actually, they both have the kidneys, but this is more of a daddy kidney weakness. Pretty involved here. Here's a hip weakness on her, an left ovarian weakness on her. We're up here in the left ear area, minor mastoid and medulla weakness. Here's the pituitary weakness. You have to watch her growth. Here's the back.
Is that ovarian?
Yep. I mean, this definitely could take some. You know, a child has to have both.
Yeah.
If you look with this over a fine-tooth comb, you could probably pick out all of them, but I'm not going to do that on this here. This is the throat weakness, thyroid, parathyroid weakness. That's a big parathyroid weakness right there. Lots of lymph around that see that little bitty lacuna right there? That bowel's pushed that out further to the end. That's why it looks so close to the end of the eye or the skin area. But that's a very weak parathyroid, which is yielding you connective tissue weaknesses. That's again. Now coming over here, we have a right arm weakness. We have a liver and gallbladder issue we have to deal with here. We have a little pancreatic weakness. You got to address this girl's GI tract, her pancreas, her gallbladder, her liver, her kidneys here. No question. This is a little bladder and vaginal on this young girl. So by making this girl healthy and working with her health issues, getting her endocrine glands, you know, a young person coming up in life, they need to have healthy glands. So everything grows, everything works well, and this girl needs that kind of help. And I think you can take a young girl like this and get them extremely healthy.
Absolutely.
But you got to fix some kidneys going on here, get this lymph draining, get these lymph nodes cleaned out, get the skin sweating, get the parathyroid up for sure. And I think you're going to do well with this young child here. You hanging in on me, Drew?
Fruits, berries, melons.
What's our time like, do we know?
There you go.
Oh, holy moly. Well, oh my God, Drew, there's no way. We've got so many of your eyes. I so highly apologize, but we have so many of them to go through here. It's a lot of time. Okay, so I want to look at this one though. This is from Annie again. This is another Annie.
I like that one.
But this is an older Annie. Yeah, right. Is this yeah, this is left. Okay, so this is an older Annie. Hello, older Annie. You truly are a shining... Oh, thanks, sweetie. Number one, do you believe that when women lose menstruation, that this may cause some wrinkles and sagging skin? No, but I believe if they lose their pituitary or their parathyroid, they will. And this is common stuff. Here's something that I want everybody to take a look at here. And this is the sign of cholesterol. See that thick, hazy look up here? That's a thick cholesterol ring. Annie, you get your butt detoxing. I do upper circ to keep myself good blood flow in the brain area for obvious reasons. But Annie, you got cholesterol plaque in big time, honey. You want to get that out of you. That's that translucent ring there, and you can see the cataract in the eye there a little bit. So you really want to get that cleaned out of there. Now notice about Annie, she's got blue eyes here, but look at the brown around her bowels. She has chronic bowels. Now these are hard pictures to read, Annie, but your left kidney's not real happy. See that dark? That's your left kidney. That's your uterus in there. This is near your cerebellum and your mastoid, which could give you some equilibrium problems. Forehead, some things going on there. Here's pituitary weakness. Got a lot of congestion in the bronchi. Here's right breast. Maybe the appendix right there. Looks like that might have been even removed. Here's a little hip, gallbladder, and then liver. Probably should clean that out for sure. When people fast, why do they have lightheadedness and dizziness? They shouldn't. What happens is when you start fasting like that, your body then you're not having any external stimulants. When you cut off the meats, the proteins, even the nuts, when you start cutting out all these foods, you're literally cutting the ribbon of stimulants. So take a smoker that's been smoking for years and just stop one day. You'll come crashing down because you've used nicotine as a stimulant and as a toxin. So when you stop, that's when everything starts rushing to the outside. Your breathing gets more labored. You can get congested more because you've stopped something that was suppressing, that was stimulating. Now you get to see reality. And that's what happens. When we take you off of stimulants, then most people crash because their adrenals are low and they're hyping themselves up on some type of adrenal stimulant, which is coffee, which is definitely meats with neurotransmitters in them. That's the biggest way we kick ourselves up. Proteins. Energy drinks. Oh, my God. So, you know, that's the problem. It isn't the diet. It's what's wrong with the person. I never had dizziness or lightheadedness when I fasted and did that. I didn't have that stuff. It's the individual. I can see that in you, Annie, where you could have that. I can't see back here real well in the left side of the cerebellum. Looks like you're involved there. That could do that. Also, you're dealing in people with very low blood pressures and high blood pressures and low sugars. And when you have weak adrenals, you're up for low blood pressure and low blood sugar. In time, they'll both switch on you, and you'll end up with high blood pressure and high blood sugar. Same problem. Same problem. How many days would you recommend dry fasting? I'm not a dry faster too much, sweetheart, but probably no more than 2 or 3 at the very most. I'd more recommend long grape fasts and lemon juice fasts and short-term water fasts, stuff like that. When I have quit a bit of grape juice, I feel when I have quite a bit of grape juice, I feel sick. What does this indicate? It indicates you got a chronic bowel and stomach area. That's what that indicates. And you don't know what your adrenal condition is that could flip and affect your blood sugar. Because when you're talking about sugars, even though you're talking simple sugar of fructose, glucose, and galactose, when you have adrenal weakness, even simple sugars are hard to metabolize. That's why you can have elevated blood sugar with fruits or vegetables. Doesn't matter. You're having sugar metabolism problems. So it doesn't matter. You just fix the adrenals. Every now and again, one of my fingers will swell quite badly and turn a nasty blue for no reason. Well, lymph. And this is how we go to the obstruction side of life. And the older you get, the more obstructions you get. So you could have a calcium deposit, you can have swelling of the lymph. All these things block blood flow, swell tissue, things like that. Although I have hit it extremely hard with a hammer, well, that would do it. It shows a lot of bruising and swelling. Why does this happen? Why does you swell when you hit your finger with a hammer? My mother had the same problem. Well, all I can say, this is tied into blood and lymph flows and the lack thereof, you know, and the restriction of those flows. Generally, when you see restricted blood flow, guess which system's causing it? The lymph, not the blood. The lymph is what occludes, swells, suppresses, pulls calcium out, and causes calcification, all of that stuff. Why do you recommend grapes over an orange fast? I don't care which one. Can you please explain the extra benefits that it has? Well, grapes are so much more flavonoid rich, but I like them both. I think grapes are the standard, more powerful food, but then I love a powerful organic navel orange juice. That'll turn my bippy on any day. Why do you consider that distilled water is not the best water to drink? My thought is God provided us with it, rain, fruit, etc. Well, I agree through the foods, but you don't have distilled water through the fruits. Now, that's a misnomer. Your fruits are electrified, mineralized water. You don't have just distilled water and fruit. It's all electrical. It's all chemical. Now, when you look at it, I don't mind distilled water, but you can't no longer get rainwater because it's too polluted. So we have all these rain catchers. I've got some. We got all, but quite frankly, you don't. It's like fishing in these local canals. You don't fish in these local canals and eat them. Nope. That's where all the pesticides and things go in. Nasty. All the oils and petrochemicals from the boats. You don't fish in these canals and eat it. And the same thing here is, you don't drink distilled water when it comes from rain. If you want distilled water, I have not a problem, but keep in mind, you are so acidic here, sweetheart. You're using, your body's using cholesterol. You want to hydrate ASAP. Distilled water is not a hydrating water. It's an acid water. Hydrating water is going to have a little electrolytes in there from the lake or from the stream or the mountain. Plus mountain land energizes, hugs the water, energizes it. You know, so there's a lot going on in nature. And I say either way, I don't care, but don't drink the rain. And veggie and fruit waters are loaded.
Melons, fruits, right?
Melons, water loaded with nutrition, loaded. Also knowing that distilled water has a negative magnetic charge and toxic substances within the body are positive. No, not always, which provides a perfect cleansing modality as they attach and sweep it out of the body. I tell you, I used to do nothing but distilled water fasting. I don't know if I agree totally with that. I don't know if I agree totally with that because water's acidic. Water doesn't have a necessarily positive charge or a negative charge. Water is acidic, like most of your toxins are acidic. Proteins are acidic, which most of these acids are in the form of proteins. These are about the same. You know, you've got water's acidic, so you're really playing with acids and acids. If you want to bring in some charges to neutralize negative or positive charges, play with your electrolytes, play with your whole food chemistry, and that will hydrate. That'll bring back this cationic environment and stuff. Can you please read my 84-year-old father's eyes? Oh, this is an 84-year-old father's eyes. See attached photos. I have attached 2 left eyes as one has more detail. Thank you. This is Annie. Oh, this isn't Annie's eyes. This is her father's eyes.
There you go.
Let me read this because this is from Annie herself. This is a father, let's see. I had the good fortune to meet a naturopath and chiropractic doctor, a great leader and teacher in the field of natural hygiene. Dr. Christopher Curso or something, who introduced me to a new wonderful world of balanced nutrition, which I went into deeply with the intention of becoming a practitioner someday. He told me about his experiences while following Arnold Ehret, which led to deficiencies in his diet. Disagree with him on that one. He once went on a grape cure recommended by Jonah. He lived on nothing but grapes, cases of them for about 35 days. 35 days. He ate pounds of them at each meal. By the 32nd day, his gum was bleeding and his teeth loosened in his sockets. He said that one of his teeth fell. And these are people that don't know. This was a naturopath and a chiropractor and didn't know his butt what was going on and why. And he thought he was deficient, and he was losing his gums and teeth because he was deficient. Disagree already with this guy. Took the wrong effect the wrong way. And therefore he ended up misunderstanding. And there is no balanced diet out there. For frugivores, it's the fruits. The guy didn't understand detox. Wow, our time is getting about ended here, Drew, and I've got a whole load of eyes.
You know what? Part 1 or 2.
Yeah, this is going to have to be part 1 or 2.
I want to get those organized.
Okay, all right, we'll do that. Let's do one. What's the time? About 4:30?
Almost, yep.
Okay, so we'll end right here. We'll end with her eyes. Oh, I'll get it. Oh, thanks, Drew. Thanks, man. All right, hi, Doc. I must say, you have been an unbelievable blessing. Oh, thanks, sweetheart. I appreciate that. You know what? All of us working together, that's what this is, and it's a good thing. I'm a 19-year-old male, standing 5'7". I'm currently working on detoxifying my entire body. While doing so, look at how many 19-year-olds we have, and young men and women that are hurting. You know, this is disgusting. I feel sorry for these people. That's about the age you want to go have fun. You don't want a body that you have to drag around with. Yeah. I'm pretty optimistic about this thing that I still seem to be growing, however, very slowly. Here is some info to my case, easier to understand. I also have attached eye photos. My mom is 4'11". All right, so let's look for a pituitary. Now look, these are blue eyes that look pretty hazel to me. And see around the pupil that real dark brown chronic bowels. Chronic bowels, my friend, you got them on both sides. And you got chronic pituitary going on there. And that's why your mom's only 4 foot 11 inches. She has a hypoactive thyroid. Now, again, that goes back to the pituitary in her thyroid work. So when she's working on her thyroid, you have a little thyroid right there. Not too much here on the left side. I think it's probably more pituitary, probably in her case. And which supports the notion of pituitary weakness. You're right on. See what I love about these guys? They're smart. They get it. They pick it up. They know how to equate the weaknesses of the glands. You don't get endocrinologists to do that. Endocrinologists had 10, 15 years of study.
19.
These YouTubers can kick their butts.
At 19.
At 19.
Yeah.
At 19. I love it. I love it, I love it, I love it. To prove the point that academics isn't everything, and sometimes the more academically inclined you are, the stupider you get. You guys are putting this together beautifully.
Hey,
My father's 5'6".
2014 is a whole new year.
A whole new year.
Awesome.
It's a whole new year. It's an awesome year. So this lad is getting hit by father and mother because the father's only 5'6". I also have a hypoactive thyroid pituitary. I feel cold easily, especially you're right on, man. I expectorate mucus out of my throat, good deal, every morning. Ooh, when I am detoxing, the amount increases and color becomes yellow. Subacute mucus. This guy's got it, baby. Yep, you're right on. You're right on. My father and my uncle were both late bloomers. Look at that. I seem to have a couple of radius solaris around the 11-1 area. Yeah, I see. Coming in here. Well, you know, you're around your ear here on the right. You're around, another thing is you're around your the cerebellum too. That's scary. You know, that's the equilibrium back of the head scenario. You go over here and you're much more involved on the left side here. And look here, my friend, you've got these nerve rings. You got a lot of nerve rings. So yeah, those adrenals are down with it there. So I'd hit my pituitary, the adrenals. Here's a knee on the right side here, by the way. And a lot of hip needs to be cleaned out. Here's the pancreas and gallbladder needs to be cleaned up. A lot feeding into the right. If this was a woman, might have a right breast problem here. But this feeding into his chest wall here, though, and as a male, you have to be careful because you can get breast cancer as a male. Then we have the classic, here a little bladder, here a little lower back. But these are pretty good, strong genes. This guy's got some strong genes. And this is Nilkan, Nilkan, Nilkan. Man, good genes, guy. You got to get the adrenals up, get these nerve rings out of there, strengthen the autonomic system because you got majorly good genes. Chronic bowels, fix them up. Again, this is where we're always going to these bowels. This will nip all this other stuff in the bud, and you'll do pretty well. Here's a left hip. Maybe even a left testicle, left groin, by the way, going on here. And then adrenals and kidneys. Here's a prostate, and it looks like a rectal flexure going on here. Definitely bladder, lower back, maybe even tailbone here. It seems the right side of my body is less developed compared to the left. Slightly, and that's where you see right-sided weaknesses, right-sided pituitary, right-sided thyroid, right-side adrenal, right kidney, slightly smaller facial bones on the right side, noise deviated to the right. Well, I would get up, get that pituitary going, hit my parathyroid a little bit, just to kick that up so you're utilizing at your age, you're utilizing calcium good, and let my body pull itself back into a balance there. Very weak and subpar stomach and bowels. Well, they're chronic, my friend. See all that brown? You're right. You're moving to a subacute stage. That's why you're looking at, you got a subacute stage out in the general area, and then you got around the GI tract chronic. So you're picking it right up. You guys are so good. And since my childhood, I've also had very bad breath and horrible smelling flatulence. Well, because you're chronic here, and that's protein impaction. Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. Chronic bowels, impacted proteins, gives you just what you have, smell. And you should smell just like the food you eat. And you do. People say, well, I stink. Well, look at what you eat. Dead tissue. I smell like oranges. Because I eat oranges.
I was going to say.
That sort of thing. Absolutely. I mean, that's what it's all about. How would you want to smell? Like an orange or like a dead piece of buffalo?
When I walked in this room, I thought it smelled like...
yeah, exactly. Like flowers and stuff.
Anyway.
So you got to clean up your GI tract, my friend. That's important. I'm planning on taking pituitary, kidney, adrenal, and thyroid glandulars. Try the parathyroid as well. And herbs for 2 months, coupled with the ultimate immune formula because of the deer antler. Oh, yeah. The bones formula and the superfood blend, too. That's good. My question is, do you believe I can grow a little more with this approach? I do. And I also think that you ought to hit the adrenal glands, you know, and bring that up because you're going to have low blood pressure one way or another. You have too many nerve rings here. And brain and nerve would be a good one for you to pick that up there. You might try some upper circ for a couple of months, but brain and nerve would be a good one approach for you there. Any suggestions? My biggest concern is that I don't detoxify quick enough for my pituitary function to... Well, start with a pituitary glandular now. And then take one twice a day. You don't want to hit it too hard. And then work yourself that way. At the same time, you might want to think about a gland tonic. We have a gland tonic that's like a ginseng tonic, but it's all the powerful gland herbs. And just work with that over time. Just take 1 3 times a day or 1 twice a day. Nothing big. Stretch it out so that your money goes a long way. But in time, it'll bring strength to all the endocrine glands. At the same time, a pituitary glandular for about a bottle or 2 wouldn't hurt you. And work on the adrenals the same way, along with the kidneys. Clean up the GI tract. GI broom, stomach and bowels, a lymphatic capsule. Those 3 things will do well. A few extra questions. How long is the storage life of the pure glandulars? I put them in the refrigerator myself, but they'll last probably a year on a cool, dry place in the kitchen. What is the true color of my eyes? Definitely blue. Can you regenerate an descended testicle? I knew he had I told you, it's got to be the left one too, my guess. Absolutely, I would work on that one. Let me know if it was the left one. I'm curious because that's what really shows here. Right one, not so bad. Left one really showing up as a problem. So you want to detox that out. You can see, here's where your left testicle is. See that darkness and how that's coming down right there? Yep. You always find a weakness, don't you? When something's not...
Always.
Exactly. You always find toxicity, acidosis, and a weakness.
No matter where.
Always, no matter where. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Now, let me get this down. Surgically pulled down and never really grew to its full size. The same testicle has a little lump on it. Uh-oh. Now, this has got to be the left one. I'm telling you, because this is chronic lymph involved in the left testicle. And you can see why. That kidney is not filtering the lymph out of the testicles. And that's where you get in trouble here. And you want to get that cyst off there. You detox. That's all. I mean, that's what does it. Do you suggest a septoplastic for my deviated septum? You might want to work with the parathyroid and thyroid first to see if you want to go 100% raw, dig deep into there, and just see what happens before you do the surgery, I would. But if you're not draining frontally, I'd probably have the surgery because draining back of the throat only irritates the throat and creates congestion in the throat and voice box and stuff like that. What about the anesthesia? I know. So, with all the nerve rings, it's questionable. That's why I think I would make my body a lot healthier, see if my body will pull itself straight, work myself that way. And if I couldn't get to the point that I wanted to, then maybe rethink that position. By then, you've enhanced the nervous system, you've enhanced the adrenals, the kidneys, everybody's filtering, everything is good. And you'll heal real quick, and everything is good that way. Your adrenal, your parathyroid is up, everything's up and everything is good. When I lift heavy, I can position my elbows in a certain way. It seems as if my elbows lock with a sharp pain. Well, I think you got to work on your parathyroid, that's for sure. And this shows right arm weakness. And see how that works out with that. All right, we unfortunately have to stop. We're out of time, and we really have a lot more ice to go over. So, we live to fight another day, Drew. So I'm going to put these in my finished pile.
Keep those in order, remember?
Oh,
for part 1.
That's right. Yep. All right, that's right. We got to give them to Chris, right? Mm-hmm. Thank you all so much. I hope these lessons help you here because there's some things I'm throwing to you that iridology hasn't discovered yet. And, I don't know, these are going to be upside down then. Okay. So, some of these tidbits will help you where other iridologists doesn't know yet some of these things. They're not in the books.
When life gives you life.
And remember the lemon, baby.
Jeez.
Thanks so much, everyone. We love you all here. If you're struggling, buy my Norwegian men. Any help you can get, we'll try to help you. Work yourself through these states. So many of you are only in your teens and 20s. I feel for you. You got my love with you. You got my arms around you, and I'm walking with you. I might be through videos and telephone calls, but I'm here, and I'm there with you as well. So just remember, we're all here to help you. Don't freak out. Relax. Go after your weaknesses. And don't get waylaid. There's so many people that get waylaid. Like this chiropractor naturopath. It's like, excuse me, you don't know why your gums got bleeding and stuff on an extended grape fast? I put people on 40-day grape fasts every day here. People run through 40-day grape fasts like they're nothing. Yet this chiropractor naturopath did, and now he thought, oh, fruits aren't good, I'm going to find a more balanced diet. I can't wait to see what that is. But that's just a wrong understanding of an effect that he didn't understand, and that's the problem. People do a little bitty fast, they freak out because they see something, and pretty soon that little bitty 30-day fast, everything, nobody, no fruit, no this. And you see that kind of crap all the time. Instead of really looking closer and examining why and what detox is and what it can do to you, this is serious business. Detoxification isn't a joke. It's serious business. And you guys are proving how you can take people and yourself that are living in Hellville and drive that car right into Wellville, and you guys are the best ones on the planet to do it. I'll tell you, you'll see this over and over. I'm just not hyper-focused on this. This is something we've all been looking at for years and talking and watching our clients, and this comes out of all these years of working with people. And I just see the same thing every single time. I mean, you have your differences in people, no question. You know, some can handle this, some can handle that, some have weaker adrenals, some more. But always when you pull out a standard American diet, you pull out the dairy, you pull out the proteins, crash and burn can happen. Okay. Understand why, and understand that you're pulling away from the stimulants, and now you're relying on pure power of chemistry and magnetics and intelligence to resurrect and pull your body into the station of Wellville. And that's a station very few people get to experience but you guys, because you know how to take yourselves there. And when you pull in the station, you can't, it's unbelievable. Even when you see the station coming, you're starting to feel way out there. So, you know what? We learn a lot through the years. We learn how to move right and left and left. If anything, let me help you to watch for the pitfalls and stuff. But have fun and hit it hard, especially you younger guys. Unfortunately, you younger guys have a lot more to deal with than some of the older people. So just have fun doing it. Don't stress out, because your body will rebuild. So we love you all. You have fun tonight. And tomorrow, I don't know when this one's going up, Drew, but we'll get this one up, and we'll try to finish the eyes as soon as I can. Thank you so much. Love from me and Drew and all of us here to all of you guys out there. We love you.